This week's PARSHA, Parsha's Terumah, begins by Daber Hashem Moshe Lemar. God speaks to Moshe. Daber over the Yisrael Yichuli Terumah, one of the first fundraisers in Jewish history, and it was so exciting for the people having the ability to give to the Mishkan, to the tabernacle, that they didn't even wait. Moshe had to halt the contributions because they were getting too many. So what were they giving? So it says they gave from Zahav, Chesef, Nechoshes, gold, silver, copper. The psukim go on. And then at the end it says in Pasuk Zayin, Va'avnei Shoam, Va'avnei Miluim, Va'ephod, Va'choshen. And it goes on and says the shoam stones and stones for the settings, and for the breastplate. So these are very precious stones. So the Orach Chaim HaKodesh has a famous question. He says the pasuk starts off with the most valuable, gold, silver, copper, etc. And then it seems to be going in a downward spiral. But at the end, it ends off with something very valuable. The Avnei Shoam and the Avnei Melulim, these special stones, these special pearls, semi-precious stones that were used for the garments of the Kohen Gadol, for the vestments of the Kohen Gadol. So the Orach Chaim wants to know why out of order. If we're going in order, if important, so then they should have been put up on the top, next to with the Zahav and the Chesef. Why was it put at the end? So the Orach Chaim answers, answer number one is, he quotes from the Chazal that they find fault with the way the princes, the Nesiim, gathered the money, because even though from a pragmatic point of view it was very good, if someone would say, you know what, we're having $1 million campaign, and everyone give whatever they want, and I'll be mashlam the rest. I'll make up the difference. So, from a pragmatic point of view, it's a very good thing. Yet Chazal found fault with the Nesiim, the leaders, is that they should have been so excited about what they were doing. They should have given right away. They did libo without working through the pragmatics, and it shows that they didn't. It showed that it didn't have the inherent value it should have had. Like by Shlomo HaMelech, when he wanted to build the temple, well, it's not right, this house should be nicer than the temple, we're going to build the nicest house. That's a good thing, but you shouldn't need the other house there. And inherently, you should have a desire and a drive to build the most beautiful building as it is. So that's what Orach Chaim writes, that it's not so much, it's true, the Avnei Shoam, Avnei Meluim are worth more, but since they gave at the end, they were just going to be mashlam the difference, so too it was put at the end, and shows a critique that it wasn't the right attitude. Pragmatically it was a successful appeal, but they should have showed their desire and their efforts by giving right away. That's one approach. A second approach of the Orach Chaim is based on the Gemara in Yuma. The Gemara in Yuma tells us that where these Avnei Shoam, Avnei Meluim, where did these precious stones come from? Were they working the whole lifetime and they had them from hard sweat and work and backbreaking work? No, Chazal tell us they came min hashamayim, they came from the heavens as a gift, from the Anei HaKavod, the clouds of glory. And that's what the Orach Chaim says. It wants to teach us that when it comes to God, it's not just about the end result, about bringing the beautiful things. But God values your effort even more. And that's why it's true they might have been the most valuable, and they should have put it earlier in the psukim, in the verses. But since they came, easy come, easy go. And we live in the Olam Hasiya and Olam Hazeh, where the more work you put into something, the more you get out of it. So in order to show that they didn't put the effort into, it's not, even though monetarily it might be worth more, but to God it's not, it doesn't have the shame chashivas. Like the Gemara tells us in Brachas, after one finishes learning for the day, and we have this also at a Siyam, that one of the prayers we say, we work and they work. We meaning us, the Jewish people, and they are the Gentiles. We work and receive reward. They work and they don't receive reward, and they don't receive reward. So the Chafetz Chaim asks, what are you talking about? They don't receive reward. I know many Goyim who get nice paychecks at the end of the month, or get paychecks, and again, and there are many people, Jews or non-Jews, there are many people with big paychecks don't contribute much to society, and those with very small paychecks contribute a lot. So what's the pshat here? That we work and get reward, they work and don't get reward. Of course they get reward. We know they get a salary, they get paid just like we do. So the Chafetz Chaim answered with the following, I think it was his parable, someone else's, that let's say you go to a shoemaker. That was during the days where you used to go and fix your shoes. Today we live in a disposable society where you throw them out and buy new ones. But back in the day when they used to have shoemakers, and you go to, after your soles ran out, something wore down, you go in and get your shoes fixed. So let's say, and the job, let's say it's $5 to fix a pair of shoes, $10, whatever it might be, $20. And then you come back, you leave it, he says, you come back next week. You come back next week and you get $100 bill. $100 bill, he bills you for $100. You say, what are you talking about? It's supposed to be $10. Why 100? Oh, he said, no, you don't understand. I was very sick over the weekend. I had the flu, had a migraine headache, I wasn't feeling well, and I still went ahead and fixed his shoes. So under those circumstances, I think it warrants the $100. So the guy says, what are you talking about? I'm not paying you $100. I'm paying you $10. I don't really care I don't care your effort. I'm not really interested in your effort. I'm paying for the bottom line. I'm paying you for my shoes to be fixed. I don't care if you did it sitting out on the beach in the sun, or you did it with a migraine headache. So that's the pshat the Chafetz Chaim says. They work and they don't receive reward. Of course they receive a paycheck at the end for the result, but they don't get rewarded for the effort. But when someone learns Torah, someone's involved in mitzvahs, it's not just the end result, but you're going to get rewarded for the effort you put in. Even if there wasn't a successful end result, you get rewarded for the effort. And that's what God is valuing here. That the Avnei Shom Avnei Mulam Aleas, because there was no effort, easy come, easy go. And we see this Yisod throughout. We know, like Har Sinai, where the Torah was given at a certain Kedusha, but if once the Jewish people was left, the Kedusha was going to go away. It was a Davar of a minion, there's a whole discussion on it. But what do you mean, why would Har Sinai lose its Kedusha? Because what did they do? Easy come, easy go. They just showed up at Har Sinai, they didn't do anything. If you don't stick around and put in the effort, so then it's not going to last. And in fact, that's what the Gemara tells us and Chazal tell us, a fundamental difference between Kedusha Shabbos and Kedusha Yantif. Kedusha Shabbos is, the Kedusha is Me'ela by itself. In other words, 6 days a week you work, the 7th day, whether you like it or not, Shabbos is coming. And therefore, no matter what, it's Kodesh by itself. But however, we do a token Kedusha. We make Kiddush, like Kedusha is Bechor. Even though it's Kedusha, its sanctity comes from within automatically, nevertheless, we're Makdash Pepeh. We say it with our mouths. However, in contrast to Yantif, it's Makadesh Yisrael B'Hazmanim. It's the Jewish people who bring on the Yantif. Of course, today we have calendars, but back in the day, it's Makayesh Yisrael Vazvadim. In fact, this is a beautiful Avnei Nezer. That we know there's a minhag, not a minhag, there's a halacha, that after Shabbos is over, we make Havdalah. According to the Rambam, it's even a mitzvah min HaTorah. According to other Rishonim, it's only a rabbinical mitzvah. Be it as it may, there is a mitzvah to make Havdalah when Shabbos is over. In our custom, part of the minhag is we smell the besamim. Why do we make a bracha on the besamim, on the spices? Because the tradition has it that we get an neshama yiseira, we get an extra soul on Shabbos. As Rashi writes, that's why we eat so much more on Shabbos, so we have to feed an extra soul. But we get an extra soul, and therefore after Shabbos, the soul, the extra neshama, the extra soul leaves us, so we go ahead and we smell the spices in order to try to buffer when we're so depressed and down, so we have a little smell in order to cheer us up a bit. So we make Havdalah and we make the Besamim after. What about Yantif? Do we have a Neshama Yisera on Yantif? Do we have an extra soul on Yantif as well, or just on Shabbos? So it seems to be two opinions in the Rishonim and the Arvei Psachim, between the Rashbam, I believe, and the Bali Tosas, whether we have an extra Neshama Yisera on Yantif. So the Rashbam, I believe, says yes, we do have one. And what's his raya? That when Yantif falls out on Motzai Shabbos, Yantif falls out on Saturday and on Sunday. So obviously we make Havdalah Saturday night, in between Shabbos and Yantif. So when we make the Havdalah, as well as the Kiddush, when we make the Havdalah Saturday night, do we smell the Besamim on a Yantif Shachol Achar Shabbos? So we know the minhag is no. There is no Besamim when Yantif follows Shabbos. So the Rashbam says, that's my raya. That's why I know we have it so, because if we didn't have an extra soul on Yantif, so then we'd have to make Besamim Saturday night. But the fact that we don't make a Besamim Saturday night, it shows that the Neshama stayed and there's no need to have the Besamim. That's the raya of the Rashbam. So Tosas asks, if that's true then, if you're telling me on Yantiv you have a Neshama Yisera, and that's why you don't make a Besamim Saturday night, so what about Motzai Yantiv? What about when Yantiv is over? When Yantiv is over, then we should make a Bori Minei Besamim. So the fact that we don't make a Besamim when Yantiv is over, it must be a proof like me, the Bali Tosas, that there is no Neshama Yisera on Yantiv. So Tosas asked, so what would I answer? What about the Rashbam's Raya? What about when Yantiv falls out after Shabbos and we don't make a Besamim? Why not? According to me, that there is no extra soul on Yantiv, why not make a Besamim right between Shabbos and Yantiv? So Tosas says because it's not necessary, because let's say you're walking by a bakery, you smell of some nice cake, some challah, some bread, some cookies. So it's a tremendous smell. Some people put baked bread in their homes when they want to show their homes. So smell is a tremendous benefit. However, there's something even greater than smelling it, and that's eating it. So normally we need the besamim to keep us going. Smelling the spices, we lost on a regular Saturday night, we lose our soul, and we have to make a besamim. But according to Tosas, we don't have an extra soul on Yantiv. We are losing it. If we're not losing it, where's the besamim? The answer is we don't need a besamim because we have a sudas Yantiv. It's better than smelling spices. We have a big festive meal. And since we have a big festive meal, that takes the place of besamim. So that's Tosas' opinion. There is no extra soul on Yantiv, and the reason why we don't make it when Yantiv falls out after Shabbos, if we're losing, is because we don't need to smell when we're having a full festive meal. So we still have to answer up. Tosas had a question on the Rashbam. According to you, Rashbam, that we do get a new soul on Yantiv, hence no besamim Saturday night. So what about when Yantiv is over? When Yantiv is over, so So at the end of Yontif, we should have to make a Borei B'nei B'samim. So that's where the Avnei Nezer comes in and says a beautiful explanation. The Avnei Nezer writes that, as we said, there's a fundamental difference between Kedusha Shabbos and Kedusha Yontif. Kedusha Shabbos, the Kedusha comes by itself, it's inherent Kedusha, and we just do a token. So therefore, as we said, easy come, easy go. So therefore, on Shabbos, the Kedusha comes even with the adders, even though we try to do everything we can to keep it up and keep it going, but the Kedusha comes with or without our input, and it leaves with our input. And since it came without any effort, so easy come, easy go. On the Shema Yisera, the soul takes off immediately after Shabbos. Can't wait to get out of there. And therefore we need to immediately make a blessing on the B'samim so we can smell the B'samim in order to keep us calm and not so depressed. However, the Avnei Nezer says, by Yontif we know it's Makadesh Yisrael v'Hazmanim. It's the Jewish people who bring the Kedusha. Without, based in saying Makudesh, Makudesh, we wouldn't have the Yom Tov, and wouldn't have the days on the calendar. And therefore, so when it comes to Yontif, so the question Tosas asks on the Rashbam is, so how come when Yontif is over, how come there's no B'samim? If you're losing your Yisam and Yisera, so why not make B'samim? So that's what the Avnei Nezer says. The Rashbam would answer, since on Yontif we brought it in, so therefore it's not like Shabbat. It doesn't just run away right away. It sticks along for a while. It goes away slowly. So it goes away slowly. There's no need, when you have an immediate loss, you need the B'samim to keep you going. But on Yontif it's going away slowly, and therefore you work so hard on bringing it in, so it sticks around longer, and therefore hence no need for B'samim. In fact, that's why we know before we bring in Shabbos, and it's very popular today, of any Kolbach Minions, Friday Night Live, we have Kabbalah Shabbos by Friday night. But interesting, by Yontif, Erev Yontif, when we bring in Yontif, we don't have a Kabbalah Yontif. I don't mean saying the same kapitla, same things. Find appropriate things to say on Yontif. But why don't we have a Kabbalah Yontif? So there are many answers. But one answer is this Yisod, that by Shabbos the Kedusha comes by itself, so we want to go out and we want to at least play some token role in bringing in the Kedusha. So we actively go out. They used to go out into the fields, as the Gemara tells us, or we go in and we greet the Kal, we greet Shabbos, and we try to retain its Kedusha. But by Yontif, what do you mean Kabbalah is Yontif? By definition, Yontif is Makadesh Yisrael v'Hazmanim, is from us, so there's no need to do a Kabbalah Yontif, it's redundant, hence there is no Kabbalah Yontif. So that's the Yisod, easy come, easy go, and that's the second Pshat Orach Chaim, that we ask the question, how come the Avnei Sholem, the Avnei Meluim are at the end? They're the most valuable, they should be in the beginning. So either the first answer was, because since they gave at the end, they were lacking in the attitude, therefore we put them at the end to show they should have gave first and set the example. Or the second approach of Orach Chaim is, God doesn't just value the result, but he values the effort. It's true, the precious stones might be the most valuable, but they got it a gift from heaven. It fell from the Ananei HaKavod, the clouds of glory. So God wants to show us He values one's effort more than He does the result. And that's what we see by Har Sinai potentially losing the Kedusha, and that's what we see by the prayer we say after learning. We get reward and they don't. And that's what we see the difference, the Machokas Rashbam and the Bali Tosas regarding the Nishama Yisera and Yontif. And that's the fundamental difference between Shabbos and Yontif, that by Shabbos the Kedusha comes by itself, Yontif we put the effort in, and that's why, according to the Avnei Nezer, we don't need a B'samim because it doesn't run away. And that's the Yisod of the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, that we have to remember that God, of course, He wants the results also. He likes to see results. We're not against results. But God values your effort even more.